Hi, welcome to the sixth of our segments on sustainability and the environment. I'm going to talk now about cost-benefit analysis, which is a principal technique of environmental economics. The problem is that environmental problems are external costs, and often the solutions to environmental problems are public goods. But external costs and the value of public goods aren't the sort of thing that you can be measured within the free market economic system. So we have to find some way of measuring external costs that doesn't depend on market prices. These are things that land on people outside the market. Polluting activity in the United States affects somebody in Bangladesh. How do you there's no sort of market connection here to use. You can, though, assign monetary values to these external costs in various ways, and this is what cost-benefit analysis does. A cost-benefit analysis is a technique of environmental economics, okay, so that's where we are, where the costs and burdens of different policies are measured according to people's willingness to pay for them. Remember that concept. The total net benefits are then calculated, and they're used in one of two ways. They're either used as a factual input to a decision, or as an actual way of making the decision, as the decision-making method. Okay, so those are two different ways you can use these numbers, either as part of a decision or as the determinative position of the decision. Now, the cost-benefit analyses are often used by governments to formulate policies, but they are also, but they often have to be used by firms, and firms in two ways: either for their own considerations, they want they want a factual input to what the costs and benefits to the whole world are of what they're doing, but more likely because they're asked to by government or forced to by government. Government will often insist that an environmental cost-benefit analysis be performed before a firm can proceed with a project. And we need to look at this way of making decisions so to see what we think of it. So basically, the problem is to choose between several policies, so you measure the costs and benefits for each person of each policy. Okay, so then we aggregate that. Okay, aggregate, add it up, and then and when you've added it up, choose the policy, this is the recommendation, with the maximum aggregate net benefits. Okay, so which of these policies would someone choose? Business as usual, BAU, or Plan B, the alternative? All right, well, the cost-benefit analysis, which we can use either as a determinant of our decision, or it could be used as as an input into our decision, takes each of the three people, Mike, Nancy, and Peter, looks at their net benefits, which is 100, 200, and 300, adds them up. Okay, this is the addition. Sorry, that's supposed to be a plus sign. And we get 600 here, and we get 750 here. And on purely utilitarian grounds, when what matters is the total and not how it's distributed, then Plan B seems to come out better. Okay, so how can you measure costs and benefits when they're in the absence of market prices? Well, sometimes you can use market prices, say, somewhere else. If pollution causes a decline in the fish catch, and you know the cost of the fish from the market, then you can calculate the cost of the decline in the fish catch. So you can use direct market prices sometimes. It's one of the problems with cost-benefit analysis. It mixes market prices with reservation prices. Contingent valuation that was revealed willingness to pay. This is expressed willingness to pay. Pollution causes increased health risks, and then people are somehow surveyed to ask how much they would pay to reduce those health risks. Basically, surveys. How much do people say or express they are willing to pay? See, all of these methods are pretty rough. The direct market price looks at market prices, not at reservation prices. Expressed willingness to pay asks people what their reservation prices are, basically, and they well, they don't, they're not always honest. And finally, the third method is imputed willingness to pay using indirect market prices, and it works. You can find, say, two houses, one polluted and one not, and the difference in between them is a measure, an indicator of how much people are willing to pay to avoid pollution. Okay, so these provide the measures of costs or perhaps benefits that go into these willingness to pay calculations. The problem is, as well as the weakness of willingness to pay as a measure of preference satisfaction, is that there's a justice issue and a distributive justice issue and a compensatory justice issue. Look again at this chart. This is our winner here, Plan B, because 750 is bigger than 600, right? This is bigger than the 600. But in this case, Mike loses 50 bucks under Plan B, Nancy gains 200, and Peter stays the same. All of the benefits of this thing accrue to Nancy. So Nancy's a winner and Mike's a loser, just like we had the issues we had about in distributive justice in international trade. Okay, Nancy's a winner, Mike's a loser, even though the total for everybody is higher. And that's one issue you always have to look at when thinking about cost-benefit analyses. The other is the issue of compensatory justice. Because 750 is bigger than 600, there's more pie to go around, to use the metaphor. And it basically means that those who've won, the winners, can actually have gained enough to compensate the losers. So we could have a third option, which is that Nancy, who made $200, and Mike, who lost 50, maybe Nancy should be obliged to restore Mike to where he was under business as usual. And so we still get the total net benefits, but there's compensation is being paid from Nancy to Mike, and this may be a fairer system. I mean, Nancy's still the only one who gains under this, but the total is larger. Okay, but the trouble is, of course, even though the potential exists, what happens in actual fact is usually problematic, just as it was in the case of international trade. All right, here's a question for you. The policy recommendations of a cost-benefit analysis will always make each person better off. Is that true or false? Each person. Well, it makes everyone collectively better off, but it doesn't, as we've just seen in these examples, necessarily make each person who's being considered better off. Some may lose. So the answer is that this is false. When we consider the rights of individuals, some individuals may be reduced in terms of their welfare. All right. Okay. So that was cost-benefit analyses as applied to everybody existing at the same time. We're going to talk in the next section about cost-benefit analyses that apply to future people. And we're going to move into the idea of sustainability.